Whoever has her or knows where she is, that it's never too late. And you're not lost or alone. And it is never too late to do the right thing.
That emotional plea from Savannah Guthrie is coming as investigators enter the third week of searching for her mother, Nancy. The FBI says that they are now analyzing DNA on a glove that was found 2 miles from the 84-year-old's home. They say that glove appears to match the one worn by a suspect who was seen tampering with a doorbell camera the night that Nancy went missing. CNN's Ed Lavandera joins us now from outside of Nancy Guthrie's home. Ed, we just got a very interesting update from the sheriff as we continue to wait for results from these DNA tests that are being done right now.
And we sure did, Abby. You know, we're entering the third week of this investigation and search for Nancy Guthrie. And up until now, several members of the Guthrie family have been speculated about in all sorts of ways online, and speculation in social media and that sort of thing. And the sheriff here in Pima County has now put out a statement to that effect. I'm going to read it in full here. Quote, this is from Sheriff Chris Nanos here. To be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in this case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel. The Guthrie family are victims, plain and simple. Please, I'm begging you, the media, to honor your profession and report with some sense of compassion and professionalism. As people who have been following this, I'm sure in online circles and social media circles, there has been a great deal of speculation and frankly, just outright lies about what has been unfolding here. So that is the latest statement from the sheriff, significant in the sense that all of these close family members of Nancy Guthrie have been cleared in this investigation, but there are still no answers as to who the suspect is. And as you mentioned, Abby, we are awaiting DNA tests, and I'll walk you through some of those details because over the weekend, the FBI said it had collected more than a dozen gloves. One of those was very similar to the glove seen worn by the suspect in that front door camera video. And from that glove, the FBI says they have a DNA sample that they're working with, and which is significant, Abby, because on Friday, the sheriff here told us that they do have an unknown DNA source at the Guthrie property. So the question is, do those two match? If they do, this opens up a new lane of investigation or for investigators to pursue. And then obviously that DNA sample would be put into databases and try to identify who that person is. Could very well be that that person's DNA is not in any kind of database. So we're awaiting the results of that to see if there's some sort of match, if it's something that opens things up here for investigators. And we're hoping to get word on that either late today or tomorrow, Abby.
Yeah, and at this stage, I mean, we're now about to be in week 3 of this, and there was some hope after this video was released that a flood of new tips would cause a breakthrough in this case. Do you have any sense of if there are any other things that these investigators are running down here that might be driving where they go next in this investigation?
Well, we do know that they've been able to identify, for example, the specific backpack worn by the suspect in that case. And the sheriff says that specific backpack has been identified as a brand that is sold at Walmart. So the sheriff told me this morning they are working with Walmart, for example, to try to track down the list of recent purchases on that and see if that might lead them to someone. But you can imagine if thousands of those bags are sold, that's a long, tedious process to be able to break that down. But there are levels of investigative work that are being gone through to that level. And we also know that there are just tens of thousands of tips that have been called in since that video was released. People maybe identifying or suspecting the gait, the way the person walked in that video, calling in these other tips. We saw on Friday night there was a swarm of law enforcement activity in just several miles away from where we are based on a lead that was called in to authorities. So all of that continues to work, but we don't appear any closer to identifying the culprit.
Head Lavandera, thank you very